What's up, world? Welcome back to my channel. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank all my new subscribers. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel and give it a like. I appreciate it because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. I got some shout outs to give too. Hold on. First, I want to pray. Look, we all need to be praying for Louisiana, man. That's so scary. I never lived in a state like that where the water is up to the ceiling. I couldn't imagine the water being up to the ceiling here and having to go upstairs and then from upstairs to the roof. So I remember what happened in Katrina, which was so horrible, so horrible. I felt like that traumatized me as a when I was younger and back then when that happened. I feel like that was traumatizing watching all of that death. But you know what? Actually, David's gonna tap into that probably Sunday about how Haiti and Louisiana, New Orleans, how all that is like tied in on a spiritual level. So make sure y'all tune into that because that's gonna be dope. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Tamika Perkins from the Bronx. What up, sis? I hope you're doing well. She was in the comments yesterday. She was in labor, okay? And they were refusing to give this woman her pain medication. You see what I'm talking about? And this was a black Jamaican woman, she said. No offense, Jamaica, but you can't speak. One person don't speak for everybody. But they was in there on some bullshit. So she clicked on my video just in time. So that's why we're doing what we're doing, ladies. Let's continue to do this. All those stories that I got yesterday, thank you so much to everybody who put their story out there. Because now I see in the comments people are communicating and giving each other different, options instead of using pills and stuff like that because we know what goes on with black women body because we're black women. We're not professionals. We can do the best we can to make sure we help ourselves to keep ourselves out of the hands of people who try to do us harm, okay? So I want to give a shout out to her and keep me updated, sis, Tamika Perkins. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about toxic relationships. That was the first thing that came to mind today for me was toxic relationships and why it's so important to be in tune with who you are and be on your own spiritual journey and path so that God can work through you to put you around people with like minds, and that's very, very important because there's a lot of blood sucking people out there. And you know what I mean. You ever been in a phone conversation with somebody and you felt like when you got off the phone you just got punched in the face or something? You physically feel like you just got into a fight with them and all they did was lay all their burdens and stuff all on you. Stay away from them people. Because you know what? When they get off the phone with you, they be like this. glad I did that. It's one thing to call somebody and, sis, this motherfucker, you do all that and, but every day or every time we talk on the phone or something, you got all this weight putting on me and, all this shit you cause to yourself. Well, yeah. And then I ran out of gas on Tuesday and you be like, dang, that's messed up. Uh-huh. Then they tried to tell me my light bill was due on Thursday, and I said no, because I paid that motherfucker. Just in general, just everything, just so nothing is like, hey, none of that. You ain't gonna get none of that from them kind of people. They always gonna call. And notice this about these negative ass people. You know what else they do? They call you. Let's say you post something on something where it seems like you might not be in the best space or whatever. Those are the so-called friends that's gonna call you at that time. You know what I'm saying? Not to help you, just to get all in your business. Understand that. Because the ones that's there to help, because you know them, because when they talking to you, they ain't asking for nothing. They generally just checking in. Some people are so fucked up that they'll try to, if you tell them you're going through something, they try to outdo your shit. Yeah, girl. And my head was just hurting all day. Girl, my head was hurting so bad to the point I threw up. Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? Just an example. I don't get them kind of people. I try to stay away from them people. But they always, for where I am in my life right now, I don't have none of them people in my life. None of them people in my life. If you bring in drama and negativity and stuff like that to me, or you can't be an uplifting friend, you know what I'm saying? I don't want you around, because what are we doing this sisterhood thing for if we're not going to be uplifting each other and trying to build and do things together? If you talking like this to somebody in your circle and they looking at you like you crazy because they wish you could, because they wish they can go back in the day when you didn't know shit, that means it's time for you to move on in your life, in your spiritual journey, because everybody can't go. And I said that yesterday. Everybody can't fucking go, period. And it's a lot of people, and it's people in your family too. They only call you when they want something. They don't congratulate you when your kids graduate and all kind of stuff. They just call on some, hey man, how you doing? It always starts off good. Yeah, how you doing, baby? Oh, yeah. They might say, I heard about your little graduation. And pay attention to people's words that they say too. Pay attention to people's words when they talking to you. That will tell you a lot. Heard about your little graduation shit. When people say stuff like that. Or let's say you somebody opening up a business or something like that. Yeah, I heard about your little business, that little shit. You see what I'm saying? You gotta watch. You gotta really pay attention to these weirdos because they'll get you. They will get you. Sorry about the noise. Fire somewhere. But anyway, yeah, they do. You gotta pay attention to their words. Yeah. I seen your little thing you did. Or I seen your little artwork. I seen that shit. But it don't be, I be like, we be like, dang, like, some people don't even catch it. You got to catch it because they will get you. But if you got those kind of people in your life, the only reason why they keeping you around is because you're like an outlet to them to spew all their bullshit on so they can get off the phone. They be sleeping good at night. And with fucks, us as good people, we be so messed up. We be like really thinking about their problems. You know what I'm saying? We really thinking about their problems all night. To now we can't sleep because we thinking about their fucking problems. And they sleeping like a baby. Like a baby. Glad that they poured all that shit out on you. And we up at night wondering. Call them next day. Hey, what happened? And they talk to you like they ain't just tell you a whole bunch of crazy shit. Stay away from them people. Stay away from them people. They don't want, you just the one that they done clung on to. Leave them alone. Let them pass. You are going somewhere else in your life and you don't need no people like that. Call them next day. They act like they don't even know that they just did all that shit. You've been up all night wondering about the lady's light bill and shit. She ain't even worried about them. The fuck? Why do we do that? Because we have loving hearts, right? Because we have loving hearts and we care when people talking about their kids and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, I worked in daycare for a long time. I worked in daycare for, well, I wouldn't say a long time, but 6 years I would say is a long time. I had worked in daycare in the church, which it was totally separate. I did because I was the director there at the daycare and I also had a summer camp for kids. So I seen a lot of toxic parents that would do certain things like they come in and tell the daycare people all this stuff that's going on. One time this lady came in and she was crying, looked all distraught. The kids just came and sat down and she looked all distraught talking about, and then Miss Erica, he up there talking about grab me up and slam me up against the thing and all this stuff. So I'm listening to her tell the other daycare worker this because for me to even be talking in front of kids like that about all these stuff is crazy. And I'm from the old school with that. There ain't no talking, there ain't no kids around when we talking adult stuff. I never knew and stuff what my parents was talking about, so she's over there venting to the other daycare worker and I'm looking at the kids. She had an older daughter. She was like 12 and she just looked so sad and scared. You know what I'm saying? Parents don't be understanding because parents can be toxic too. The shit that you bring into your life affects your child in a way that you would never even understand. They are kids. They are not want to see. And when a child has seen a whole bunch of trauma and stuff, because when it's going on in front of them, which I've seen a lot, when it's going on in front of them, they just keep on playing with their toys. They're like, yeah, these niggas do this all the time. I ain't worried about it. They ain't crying. But all kids ain't the same. And when you be introducing toxic people in your life and they snatching you up in front of your kid or doing all this weird stuff in front of your kids and stuff like that as single mothers out here that's trying to build relationships with men, You cannot let that man come in and destroy your kids. You cannot do that. He cannot be putting his hands on you in front of the kids, slapping shit out your hand in front of the kids. That scares a child, especially if they ain't never seen that kind of stuff before, except for on TV, maybe. And it affects them all day long, all day long. So the little girl comes, she goes to school. I ask her, I said, you okay? And she tells me she's just scared. She was like, and he pushed my mom up against the wall, and she just was having a bad day, and she didn't want to talk to her friends. And when her little friends was coming over, they didn't understand why she wasn't talking. And I told her, just give her a minute, So she went to school. She came back. She showed me her thing for today. All the kids had to turn in something to show how their behavior was today. And on this particular day, this white teacher who couldn't recognize the signs that this child is obviously troubled, she sends her home, no participation, gave her an F and all these things. And so maybe I was wrong, and y'all can tell me in the comments, maybe I was wrong. I got on the phone and I called the teacher and I said, look, this child is just going through something today. That's it. And her mom would always put everything on her and scream at her all the time in front of people. And it used to drive me nuts, man. I used to hate it because she's such a smart kid. She's such a smart kid. And she had to take on all this toxic stuff from her mom. That's like having a little genius at home and you just spewing all of your negative shit on them. That's the reason. Okay, so look, let me go back to the story because sometimes I get sidetracked. But, so I told the teacher, she was just having a bad day. I know I'm working from daycare, so we can communicate like that. I didn't give her no details. I wasn't snitching to the feds. I just let them know that she had a bad day. And she said to erase what she put on there. And that's what I did. Because I knew that if she went home with the kind of day her mom was having from the behavior that I've seen, she was going to take all that anger out on her when she got home, just like she did on the way to the daycare. So that's another thing. Like, we have to, as parents, our kids can't handle that kind of weight. They can't handle that. Some of y'all be talking way too much and let these kids be way too grown too soon. I'm from the old school with that. When I'm talking and it's adults in the room and we doing adult things, ain't no kids up in here walking around back and forth and shit, giving their opinions on shit. Since when was that acceptable, y'all? Because I used to get popped in the mouth. Or like some of my friends say, hit with their grandma choleta. So, I don't know. I don't know when that started. But it's turning them into mini adults. And it's not cute. I remember I was at my daughter was doing cheerleading, and we were talking, me and another mom was talking about a situation. Her daughter standing right there. I'm saying, yeah, and I just think that the kids, maybe each one should take, because we should. I'm waiting for the pop. Pop never came. So we kept talking. Yeah, girl. And then the coach and said, yeah, she is rude. She's like totally rude. I said, I'm going to holler at you later. I'm going to go on over here, talk to somebody with some sense. Because how are you a grown-up letting this child sit here and butt into our conversation? Since when is that okay? And black people, we'd have gotten bad with that. We have gotten bad with that. It is not cute to be having them sitting up there while you having a whole conversation about adult shit so they can go in their room and practice it in the mirror to say it to their friends. Okay? Because that's what they doing. Y'all sitting on the phone. Yeah, girl, this bitch, you know what I'm saying? I told that bitch, don't do me, okay? Pass me that over there. Why they right there? They right there. They in the bathroom. Don't do me, bitch. Don't do me, bitch. Yeah. It was one little baby I had to daycare. She would always take a fake phone, and she would just be walking, pacing back and forth to daycare. Like she was on the damn phone talking shit. I couldn't understand what she was saying. But then when I met her mom ended up being my neighbor. And that's all she does. She paces back and forth, talking real loud in the neighborhood. And that's what her daughter does. Fuck you, bitch. And then she's saying it to other kids who ain't raised like that. You see? Because y'all bringing this toxicity into our community. Other kids are being affected by it. Okay? They sitting down, they talking like regular kids. Hey Susie, can I have your chocolate milk? No, bitch, get your own. At 5. And you can't tell me. Y'all know damn well what I'm talking about, okay? Y'all know damn well what I'm talking about. But I'll move on from that. Because that, we got to get deeper into that. And also, I feel like this saying something about our sons. We have to stop coddling our sons so much that they are just, my whole thing is when my son get older, I don't want no girl telling me how nasty you are. Because I got a teenager right now. So I'm going through that whole thing with that. The whole laziness. You got to stay on their ass, moms. Don't let up on them. Stay on their ass. And teach them the right things. And for the little young, cute little boys, don't let them melt our hearts so much where we turn them into, boys that ain't going to be able to, men that ain't going to be able to do nothing because they going to think they can get away with their cute little looks all the time, okay? The shit has got to stop. All right? But let me see what else I said I wanted to talk about today. Oh, I said that because I seen some people in the comments want to know my experience in the black church. So okay, I'll tell you. When we moved down here to Indianapolis, I grew up in a black church. It was my uncle's church. My mom had moved us from Inglewood to Indianapolis, and because her and my dad got into a huge argument and stuff. And next thing I know, I was on a train to Indiana with my mom. My dad ended up coming the next year. And my parents are still together right now. So everybody go through shit. But anyway, we get down here and my uncle, he owns a church. So I didn't know that when you move into a household of people that, of a pastor, that I would have to go to church every day. Because when we lived in Inglewood, I wasn't going no church. My mama up there being all fake like she know all about church stuff now. I was looking at her like, she's like, tell him what you want. Oh, I'm like, when you know that song? Why you ain't teach me that song? We ain't never been to church. Now you all Jesus on the main line, but that's okay. So my Uncle Oscar told us, like, we had to go to church Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even on Sunday. And then they had this rule where I had to we had to go to bed early, when it's still light outside. In the end, that was the first time I got whooped with a switch, which I probably needed it. Y'all see my mouth. Y'all know I probably get it. But my earlier experiences in the church were great as a child. My uncle, he was a great pastor. He was like an old school pastor. So he didn't really do he preached right out of the Bible. So he didn't try to interpret it in people's lives and stuff. Well, at least what I can remember from when I was younger. But one thing I do remember is my favorite days was when they had that communion. Because I used to be in there hungry in a mug, boy. I used to be hungry, my stomach just growling and stuff. And then here come them crackers, them little, those little soup crackers and that itty bitty thing. So the perks about being a pastor's niece was after the communion and stuff, it'd be all that leftover crackers and all that leftover, just grape juice. And that's why maybe I feel like God has put all this in me because I got to eat all the body and all the blood. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But I was a greedy kid though. But he allowed me to have it. He said, can I have the rest of that after that? Because I used to be hungry after church. You got to wait till Sunday dinner get cooked, smell them greens and stuff. I need to eat something. So, yeah, but those were my earlier experiences. Now, when I got older and I was working at the church as the daycare director there, that's when my eyes really started opening about the bullshit that was going on in these black churches. One of the things that I noticed was that you take tithes and offering and stuff. And I didn't never go to that church. I literally just worked at the daycare because I don't go to church. So it would be people that will come in sometimes and say they need, the church to help them pay a light bill or they getting ready to get evicted or something like that. And this is a smaller church. Keep in mind, the mega church is right across the street. And this is a heavy crime area where we was living at, where I was working at. because I lived where I worked at in my community, working with those kids, and I could see firsthand what's going on in the community, and I was there to help it and fix it and do my part. So for anybody out there who's saying stuff about, all that stuff about, well, what are you doing? I've done my part in the community, okay, and continuing to do it. But anyway, when people would come there and want to get their rent paid and stuff, they would come to that church first. And it's a big old mega church. And we say, why? What happened over there? That's what they would say. I'm listening to the conversations. They would tell them they got to be a member. They got to do this. They have to, do all this stuff. And they in dire need. So that was one thing I thought was flawed. I don't like that. If our people need help and they can't get it from the trustee's office and you got the money right there, how about you not go on vacation on these revival retreats? Which that's some bullshit. When they be going on them cruises and all that stuff, they just using the church's money to go out to all these different countries and stun out on other church people. That's it. That if you want to know what I learned from the church, that's what I learned. That it ain't nothing but a hustle. And then the pastor was the most creepiest person alive. Okay? He was always sleeping with the women in the church. One time, okay, check dig this as a person who's spiritual. As a person who loves God, okay? Working with God's children, okay? I go into the pastor's office. I had to have a proposal or whatever, graph showing that, for my summer camp, where the money's going to go, how much the parents are paying, all these things. I had to have it all into this plan for them to see. So he ain't worried about that. Pastor has something else on his mind. So first, he looks at it, he goes, yeah, okay. Look here. I'm traveling to such and such. He said he was going to some state. I said, good. Yeah, I seen the little flyer. He had the flowers. I said, yeah, that's good. Everybody gonna be there. That's gonna be great. So then he was like, yeah, because us pastors, we all got to stick together and stuff, so that's why we doing that. And I was like, okay, creep, man. So, sometimes you got to act like you sleeping with somebody in the church to get the other women to join. And that's when it got creepy. I said, excuse me? Sometimes you got to act like you with somebody so that other women will look at you and then want to join the church. Man, somebody came and knocked on the door. I was up out of there, man. Shut your stupid ass up. You know what he ended up doing? He ended up being a scammer that scammed all these different churches, like all these different daycares, and then just left and moved to Atlanta with the money. So if you see Pastor Moss out there, anybody in Atlanta, whoop his ass for me, for Erica Phillips. Whoop his ass for me. Because that was that daycare and that summer camp was doing such great things. And to know that the people that had to handle the money behind the scenes was fucked up, man. Kids had to suffer behind that. Kids suffered behind that. They cried behind that. You know what I'm saying? We was a real family. And if anybody want to know, I still keep in touch with those kids. I still keep in touch with them on Facebook. I keep in touch with the parents. And anytime I want to do something like that again, I definitely, put that word out there. Because we need to have more summer camps ran by Black women. With Black kids and Black men and Black women. Just for our kids. Because the stuff we did, man, it was so much fun. I took them all around the city, see stuff outside their neighborhood. And that's what kids want to be. They want to be kids. They don't need to be in our adult conversations and stuff. Let them be a kid, man. But I got to get up out of here, y'all. I went a little bit over more than I was supposed to go. So, peace and love. I love all my people that's showing me all the support, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all comments. Y'all so dope. Y'all dope as fuck. I did better with my cursing in this video, but whenever it comes back up again, I know how to throw a couple of them in there for y'all. But I know that's not why y'all watching. Y'all watching because y'all hearing the truth coming out, and I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. And like I always say, do unto others as you would have them doing to you, y'all. Peace out.